What is up, guys? It is Jed Wrestling here, back again with another video. And today we're going to be talking about WWE Saturday Night's main event. Dude, Saturday Night's main event for December 13th, 2025 was last night. And in this video, we're going to be talking about mostly John Cena's final match, but I do want to touch on everything else that happened first. First of all, we opened up with Cody Rhodes versus Obafemi, the undisputed WWE champion versus the NXT champion. This match was okay. I mean, like, we saw some pretty cool stuff throughout. We saw Obafemi hit this wicked uppercut on Cody Rhodes, like from across the ring, then onto the announcer table. That was pretty cool. But I just feel like this match was not given enough time, and the way it ended was really underwhelming as well. We just saw Drew McIntyre come out, then he starts beating down Cody, and then Cody and Oba kind of just dispatch Drew and then raise each other's hands in victory out of respect. I don't know, man. I mean, I was expected there to be a non-finish in this match because, like, bro, it's two world champions. One of them is a rising star. One of them is Cody Rhodes. They're not gonna have them take a pin in an opening match on a TV special. So I guess I understand that. I just feel like there was a more interesting way to do the non-finish, maybe like a double count out or something. And the Cody and Drew McIntyre feud is going to be continuing. It has been going on for a long time. Not gonna lie, it feels like this feud's been going on ever since like the night after SummerSlam. But I have a hunch that they're gonna have an epic blow off match at the Royal Rumble, and it's gonna be like a Hell in a Cell match, dude. That'd be absolutely awesome. Cody and Drew Hell in a Cell in the Royal Rumble at the Royal Rumble is my bold prediction. But yes, Cody Rhodes technically beats Obafemi. It was by disqualification, and yeah, I would like to see these two do more things in the future, and I would love to see Obafemi call up to the main roster because he is awesome. Our next match was Sol Ruka versus Bailey, and I feel like this match did a lot for the time that was allotted. Obviously, Cena's last match was gonna go on long, so they didn't want to have like really long matches on the undercard. But Bailey versus Sol Ruka, I feel like it was really good, and I feel like it could have been I don't feel like there's much debate that it was the best undercard match of the night, like up until the main event. So props to Bailey and Sol Ruka for doing some cool stuff here. But we saw Sol Ruka hit her classic like flippy moves, like she kept doing like cartwheels out of Bailey's potential maneuvers. And we saw Sol Ruka being able to outsmart the veteran Bailey by rolling her up for the 3 count. Sol Ruka does pick up the victory. I did predict this. This is the only NXT person that I predicted to beat a main roster opponent because I feel like Bailey at this stage she's kind of just there to put people over. You know, I feel like her like major time to shine as a single star is kind of over, which is sad. Not gonna lie, but I feel like this is a good way to make room for the future. And much like Obafemi, I would love to see Sol Ruka call up to the main roster very soon. AJ Styles and Dragon Lee versus Javon Evans and TNA's Leon Slater, the young OGs. This match started off explosive, dude. We had Javon and Leon attacking AJ and Dragon, sort of like keeping AJ out of the ring at the start. And then they did some cool stuff with Dragon Lee. We saw AJ Styles come in, then he started tearing it up, taking out everybody. He almost hit a Styles Clash on the floor onto Leon Slater, which would have been absolutely crazy. And then towards the end, we saw AJ about to hit a phenomenal forearm on Leon Slater, and then he slipped off the top rope, which is a very rare blunder for AJ Styles. I don't know if that was scripted or not because the way they immediately bounced back from it, that did make it feel a little bit scripted, especially since like Leon Slater, he's pretty young, so I don't think he'd have the immediate instincts of like a veteran to turn that into a spot or something. He might, you never know. But we did eventually see AJ Styles hit the Styles Clash and the victory on, I believe, Leon Slater and the World Tag Team Champions AJ and Dragon. The Dragons with style stand tall. As for Javon and Leon, I like Leon Slater. I just can't get behind Javon Evans, dude. I don't know what it is. I just think it's like he just seems like the epitome. I'm gonna get a little controversial here, but he just seems like the epitome of what all these Gen Z kids are gonna grow up to be, man. Because I really like I know I'm a teenager, but I cannot hang out with teenagers. Like there are only a couple teenagers in my life who I'm able to hang out with. Pretty much everybody, they're just like so annoying and unserious. And I feel like Javon Evans is just the epitome of what these kids are gonna grow up to be. Like he's saying 6'7", he's being all nerdy, he's doing all this crap. So yeah, I was definitely glad to see AJ Styles and Dragon Lee pick up the victory. I'm sorry for what I'm saying about teenagers, man. It's just my personal thoughts. And the final match of Saturday night's main event, the main event of Saturday night's main event, John Cena's final ever match. I don't think I'm breaking any new ground here when I say that this is what everybody tuned in to see. Cena's final match up against Gunther. Yes, I do say Gunther now. I don't say Gunther because I looked up the real German pronunciation of his name, and it's actually closer to Gunther than it is to Gunther, so I say Gunther now. But John Cena versus Gunther. We saw a lot of different hype packages, a lot of different things for John Cena throughout the night, different little photo album things, different little like hype packages and fan signs, like I said. And I started getting emotional on his entrance, dude. Not gonna lie, I'm not gonna be fake with you here and say I wasn't getting emotional throughout the night because I feel like we were all getting emotional for John Cena's final match. I started getting emotional on his entrance because it was at that point where it just dawned on me, man. I thought I prepared myself for this, but we're never going to see John Cena run down to the ring again. Last time we're ever going to see him in the jorts and the bright colored shirt running down to the ring. And dude, that's when it just really dawned on me, man. Cena was just soaking it all in for his entrance, which I could definitely see. And Gunther had like no emotion on his face whatsoever. And I feel like that just made this all the more better because if it was me, I would have been getting a little emotional in there, seeing John Cena, my opponent, running down to the ring for the last time. But Gunther was just completely emotionless, and I thought this match was very, very good, dude. I feel like this was almost the perfect end to John Cena's career. I know a lot of people are angry at certain elements about this match, and there are certain elements that I didn't like, and I'm gonna get into that. But I feel like this match was just really well paced, and I feel like for a long time it was just everything it needed to be, man. We saw a lot of clotheslines, a lot of different five knuckle shuffles, a lot of different moments where Cena was just not giving up against Gunther, man, and we against Gunther, sorry. But we saw Gunther tear down the announce table and he was about to put John Cena through it, but then Cena steps onto the steps and hits a massive AA on Gunther through the announce table, so extreme that even Rob Van Dam himself was impressed, and the crowd. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to point out Cena had a lot of different people in the crowd that he was greeting, people like Rob Van Dam, Eve Torres, Michelle McCool, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. It was all just really awesome, and that was one of the main parts that made me emotional during John Cena's entrance. But he got Gunther back into the ring, looks to put him away, but he couldn't quite do it. And as time went on, Cena just could not put Gunther down, man. AAs, five knuckle shoulders. He hit an AA off the top rope, which I believe he actually hit before he hit the AA on the announce table, but it did not put Gunther away. And then eventually we saw Gunther lock in the sleeper hold, and then eventually I'm like, yep, this is gonna be the end. He's gonna pass out. He's gonna pass out here. He's not gonna give up. He's going to pass out to Gunther. That's at least what we thought in the moment. And then he just kept powering through, man. Cena escaped. They did like a little arm race thing where it's like one and then two, and then Cena, like held up a little HLR hand sign as his arm was raised up, which is absolutely awesome. But Gunther just went right back on the attack, elbowing him in the jaw, and eventually he was just down with Cena on the ground. There was nothing Cena could do. And John Cena taps out, man. John Cena gave up against against Gunther. Gunther did exactly what he set out to do. He made John Cena give up, and I'm pretty freaking upset about that, man. So let's address some things here, man. First of all, would I have loved to see John Cena win his final match? Yeah, it would have been very sweet to see John Cena retiring on top in Washington, D.C. with a victory over Gunther. I just always knew it was never going to happen because, like, not only is he up against Gunther, this is also John Cena we're talking about here. So, like, he'd probably refuse, like, if he was told, like, hey, you're going to win your final match against a next gen star. He probably going to refuse that because, like, John Cena in his more recent years, he's always been keen to put over the next generation. I know Gunther isn't exactly the next generation. I mean, he's 38 years old, but he's still going to be wrestling for quite a bit of a long time to come. And I feel like that Gunther is going to benefit a lot from being not only Goldberg's final opponent and John Cena's final opponent now, and possibly retiring people like AJ Styles and Brock Lesnar next year. I mean, like Gunther's going to be the new Legend Killer, man. So I feel like that's going to be a great new character for him. Like he's the guy who all the legends have their last match against, and then Gunther just beats him, kills all the legends. But the way they did that, I just didn't like the way they did this, man. You had Cena tapping out. He smiled as he was tapping out, which I don't know if that was just. I really do not know what that was, man, because he was smiling when he was tapping out. That was really weird. But it was also just really upsetting to see John Cena tap out his final match. Not, it's like a different kind of upsetting. Like it's a different kind of upsetting than just, oh, John Cena's retiring. It's upsetting in the sense of like the Undertaker's streak, dude, because like you know how upset everybody was when the Undertaker lost his streak to Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 30. That's a similar kind of upset. That's similar to the kind of upset that I felt when I saw John Cena tapping out and giving up for the first time in 20 years, man. Because John Cena hasn't tapped out in 20 years. The last person he tapped out to was freaking Chris Benoit, I'm pretty sure. John Cena hasn't tapped out in like 20 years, man. And now in his final match, he gives up against Gunther. I feel like the best way to do it was just to have John Cena pass out because once again, I didn't expect John Cena to win this match. I wasn't anticipating a John Cena victory. Once again, I would have liked to see it. I just didn't think it was going to happen. So, but I would have I was well, I would have so much. I can't talk today, guys. I would have so much more preferred to see John Cena pass out to Gunther instead of tap out to him here because like the fact that John Cena gave up it's just so upsetting, man, and it was definitely upsetting for the live crowd. They hijacked the complete rest of the show. Like the next 20 or 30 minutes, it was just filled with swear word chants and when Triple H came out things got nasty, man. They booed Triple H so hard. Not only when he walked down to the ring, but when he hugged John Cena, the boos were like deafening, man. You could probably not even hear anything in that arena, man. If John Cena like said something to Triple H, I bet Triple H wouldn't even been able to hear it because like the fans were just booing him so freaking loud. Even after all that, Triple H had the balls to come on to the post show
They're just so big, and it's such a burden carrying them around, Randy.
and talk in front of everybody about what happened. And he got heckled with chants of AEW, chants of Vince McMahon, as well as several other swear-filled chants, which I'm obviously not going to repeat on this channel. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Triple H responds to all this criticism because he does take a lot of these criticisms to heart because like he just goes on these media appearances and then he's like don't be a critic be a fan like stuff like that. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how Triple H responds to all this because the fans have never hated him more than they do now. It's honestly pretty insane. Anyways, off the topic of Triple H, we saw the entire roster come out and congratulate John Cena, give him a standing ovation, and then we saw Cody Rhodes and CM Punk, the current undisputed WWE champion and World Heavyweight champion respectively, put their titles on John Cena's shoulders, and John Cena held up titles for the last time ever. Then he takes off his armbands, takes off his sneakers, leaves them in the ring, and then he leaves the ring himself for the last time ever, gives us a bow, gives us a salute, and that is all she wrote, folks. That is it for John Cena as a professional wrestler. I know we've been preparing ourselves for this ever since like July of 2024 when he announced his retirement, but seeing it actually happen now, given how much time has flown between like January to now, like when we were first starting off his retirement tour, then all the stuff we had in between and then like up to now all the great matches he's had, all the awesome moments that have happened. I know not all of the moments were awesome, but just like all the cool moments, all the great matches he was able to give us on his last run, it just really hit you hard, man. And it hits you even harder when it's somebody who you've been watching from like a very young age. I know I haven't been watching for as long as certain other people who have been watching from like the debut of John Cena. But it just hits you really hard, man, especially when you realize that other figures from your childhood are going to be retiring soon, like AJ Styles next year. Brock Lesnar is rumored to retire next year as well. It's just really sad, man. Our heroes are dropping like flies, but it's also pretty happy at the same time, dude. Because like the most likely reason why John Cena retired, it's probably because he wanted to go out with a bang, dude. He wanted to go out while he could still put on these awesome matches. Not people like The Undertaker, not people like Goldberg and The Undertaker, people like that. People who just like kept on and kept on for a perfect retirement match, and like as they got older, it got harder and harder to have. And then you have John Cena going out on his own terms here, still performing on a high level, and he was able to give us some awesome matches, like his matches against like AJ Styles and Cody Rhodes and Logan Paul and people like that. So yeah, I'm very glad that John Cena got to retire on a high note here. Obviously, I was pretty upset by the fact that he tapped out, but overall, I feel like this was a fitting end to the career of the greatest of all time, and a fitting beginning, if you know what I'm saying, for the next generation. Because we don't have John Cena anymore. It's all these young talent now. All these like Cody Rhodes, carrying the company into the future. So yeah, that's all she wrote for John Cena, folks. Please let me know what you thought of everything that happened on this show down in the comments down below. I'd also greatly appreciate it if you were to smash a like on this video and subscribe to Jed Wrestling and turn on notifications so you never miss anything new. But yes, Jed Wrestling out.